So welcome to the Evanston Art Center. We are excited to have you all here with us today to talk about Soulworks, our newest show on display here at the Evanston Art Center. I'm CARA FEENEY. I'm the Director of Exhibitions at the Evanston Art Center. And just a few housekeeping rules. If everyone could stay on mute while the artists and the curators are talking. And then there's a chat function that everyone should use. There will be a Q&A at the end. So everyone should type in their questions in the chat function, and we'll try to get as many as possible. If we do not get to everything, we'll later post it on our website and Facebook. So I want to introduce Paula Danoff, our president and CEO, who will then introduce our two curators.
Hi everyone, it's Paula Danoff. Thank you so much for joining us today, or tonight rather. We're very excited about this amazing show, and I hope that now the Art Center is open, albeit a few limited hours, but we're open every day of the week, that you can stop in to see it. It really is an incredibly beautiful show. It's a great pleasure to introduce personal friends and our wonderful co-curators. We have Fran Joy and also Rose Cannon, and they are going to introduce themselves because we have limited time. So I will hand the baton off to both of them. And again, thank you all for joining us this evening, and I hope that we will be seeing you soon. Thanks very much.
I would like to welcome everyone to the Evanston Art Center first floor gallery. My name is Fran Joy. I'm an artist, designer, curator, life coach. Came to Evanston back in the 80s, raised my family here, came back from LA, came back here, and now 6 years on the Evanston Arts Council, public art, basically a lot into the art culture in the Evanston area, Evanston, Chicago area. And back when Trayvon Martin was killed, I started going in a social justice direction for my work. And I thought for this time period and the climate that's taking place right now, it might be a good time to kind of bring some of that back for viewing again, to kind of shed a light on some of the things that have taken place up until now and what's taking place right now. My co-curator here, Rose Cannon, we've known each other for years, long time, in other worlds. She wanted to start a gallery here that focused on people of color. So we teamed up last year and started this Soulworks combination to bring artists of color in a broader spectrum. And this is our third time out, and I'm really proud of this show. I'm proud of all of the artists that are participating here today. It's a beautiful show. If you can come in and see it in person, please do, because it's really, really nice. It's a nice experience just to walk through it. And there's so much space here that there's plenty of room for social justice, distancing, social justice too. Plenty of room for
social justice too.
all of the above. Okay, so it's really a safe environment. Check your temperature at the door. You wear a mask. Keep your distance and enjoy the show. It's a beautiful show. It's a lot of variety, different styles, emerging artists, well-known artists in the area, out of the area. So we've kind of covered a base from, you know, New York to Evanston to Chicago, Savannah, Florida, you name it. Some of the work is here. So welcome again, and please come and see the show. If you you have interest in any of the pieces or the artists in particular, please contact Rose or myself or the Evanston Art Center here. And thank you again. I don't want to take up too much time. Rose.
Yay. Hello, everyone. My name is Rose Cannon, and I have started Cannon Fine Art Gallery. My bio is all in the Evanston Art Center online thing too. So, but I want to talk about why I wanted to start a gallery. And first, I want to tell everybody, and I need to give honor and grace to God, I'm a Christian minister, and I'm affiliated also with Second Baptist Church in Evanston with Reverend Michael Neighbors. And of course, when I started going down this route, I spoke to him and I said, it seems like I'm being pulled a different way. And he said, Rose, we all do other things besides minister. And literally what I've been finding as I'm doing this business as a gallerist here with my new galleries, I'm ministering to my artists. And that is fulfilling me too as a minister. And one of my greatest focuses is to operate as a gallerist and make a climate that my artists can work in and they can create in without worrying about all the extraneous stuff on the outside, like managing where they're going to be shown at or managing if they can get into certain galleries to be shown. So that's really a big focus of mine. Fran and I go to the same church, and at the time I was conceiving doing the business, I looked down the aisle and I said, oh, there's Fran. I said, no, Fran is a curator. She's an artist. And she's been instrumental in helping me decide what path to go down and really what to do very first. She's been training me, literally. And the first thing she told me who, if she had a chance, who she would buy if she were starting her own gallery. And with that piece of information, things began to take off. I purchased my first prints from one of the artists that's in my show, and things began to take off. And that artist came to visit us here at Evanston Art Center and said, you must see my other friend who has the gallery down at Joe B. And I said, well, maybe so. He said, no, you have to go down there. And we did, and we were, I think Fran and I both were just surprised at the level of work that we saw. And so I'm representing a number of the artists here that you will see and talk to today, and hopefully still looking for more artists to expand my gallery. I am an Evanstonian. I'm a third generation Evanstonian of 5 generations of Evanstonian, and I'm proud just to be part of this show here. And I thank Paula, I thank CARA, I thank all the board for letting us do our show. So that's all I have to say today. Thank you. Enjoy yourselves. Come in and see it. There's lots of room for everybody to social distance. Thank you.
Let's all give them a thumbs up and a clap. Thank you both. So now we are going to take a moment to hear from each of our artists today and learn from them and their work. Again, if you have any questions for any of them, you can put it in the chat function at the bottom there. Let's see. First up is Alpha. One moment, let me find her here.
Hello. I'm Alpha Bruton. First and foremost, I'm going to say thank you, Fran and Rose, for inviting me to be a part of Soulworks. We started talking about this exhibit and group exhibition in January before all of the shut down and shelter in place, and social unrest has started happening in Chicago. So my heart is beating so fast right now, not because I'm first, but because you guys have done a wonderful job in pulling all this together and troubleshooting, and look at the amount of people that have joined our conversation. And so that is why my heart is beating with this positive vibration and has went out regarding our installation there at the Evanston Arts Center. First and foremost, I'm an artist. I'm also an art consultant, and I'm also a curator. My curatorial practice is the Phantom Gallery Chicago Network, which is in Bronzeville. At the Bronzeville Artist Loft is my live workspace, and I've been there in Bronzeville for since 2014. My background is a painter, and the work that I submitted for this exhibition is called Art and Social Justice, and it's Health and Human Services, Homeland Security, and it's about the first 100 children that were in custody in 2018. And this is my response. A lot of my social justice work features children under 5, because I've been doing that for years, and featuring children, because children are watching what we are doing, what society is doing, and they are inheriting these issues that we have. The first panel, the first panel is We the People, and it talks about what makes us exceptional is what makes us American. And that was a quote from President Barack Obama in January 21st, 2012. And this, We the People, was part of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted by the UN General Assembly on December 10th, 1948. And it was a result of the experience of the Second World War. And here we are now in 2018, when this peace was done, closing our borders to the Middle East. And so this piece is part of that conversation and that dialogue. And, when I did it with the starkness of my granddaughter, posed for this, we're playing around, and she loves fabric, and then it just reminded me of the ploy and of what's going on with our children, and people trying to come in from the Middle East, and what the United Nations needs to do and how they need to intervene. And I did that piece based on that. The other pieces are based on, like the panel, the middle panel is based on the border surge of illegal immigrants, and the child behind, looking to come in. And, those faces of children that are marred. The little boy with the green hat, he's one of the security, at the border, a border agent. And then the little boy with the football jersey, we all know that movement of bend the knee, and children watching TV, and they are watching, so that was important for me to do that piece on the illegal immigration at the border. The third piece is The Grass is Greener on the Other Side, and that is reflective of Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump at 5 years old, looking at the world as if it is one big playground. North Korea dictator picking up where his daddy left off, and the boy dictator who bested the U.S. president, like he calls him Rocket Man, right? So, it speaks to itself, when people look at the piece, and I know they're saying children, but these are children that are in social justice, commentary. So when Fran asked me to be a part of this exhibit, I thought, well, this is what I want to say. This is what I want to submit, and I do other social justice work, but the ones I favor are the ones that are in children, again, under 5. Even in the background here, this is in my son, Sergeant Herbert Rennie, his collection, and it was featured you know, during the time of, I mean, it's a social statement, but it's a little boy making that social statement. So when people look at it, they're kind of, I feel like they're taken aback. I don't even tell them that I'm the artist that's creating work, so that I can watch their reaction, you know, as they study the piece. So let me know what my time is like in terms of my 5 minutes, Fran. I'm also excited this year about coming to Evanston as a curatorial fellow. This will be the first inaugural year of the curatorial fellowship. And I wanted to take the opportunity to thank the curatorial committee there at the Evanston Arts Center for accepting my proposal, which I am co-curating with a Daryl Lott, and not, and she will be facilitating a lot of discussions in the next year, and we will be doing our installation, examining the state of our environment next, opening next July.
Thank you, Alpha. So next we're going on to William. Let me find him here. Hi, William. Oh, it looks like you are on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I still have this mute, stay muted or unmute.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good evening. Good evening. My name is William KWAMENA-POH. I'm an artist from, originally from Ghana. Came here in 1980. My dad was a history professor at Talladega College. And then we moved to, after I graduated, moved to Chicago and worked actually in Evanston at Michael Phillips Gallery in the early 1980s through 99 and 1990, and finally moved to Chicago in 95. My work focuses on mostly images from Ghana. I just want people to see a different world, to understand us as people of color through the diaspora and here and everywhere. I think that every day that we paint ourselves, we are actually protesting, because images of people of color in the past have never been done by us in a lot of ways. So this is a way for us to enrich ourselves and see ourselves for who we are and present ourselves in a more positive way. And especially art. When you buy a piece of art and you hang it on the wall, you have to lift up your neck and actually, you know, look up. So there's that resonance of feeling a little bit pride in yourself, stretching yourself up a little bit. So my work really focuses on fishermen and market scenes and children and women of color. I chose that because by and large, you know, we all cry mama. That's the first thing we do. So our love to our mothers first and then to our fathers second. And my story is that I was actually raised by my dad, so it's a whole different story too. So the blessings on both sides. And I try to express my work and my technique helps me to show the strength of people of color. I use market scenes, and again, like I said, the fishermen, because with the fishermen, they don't plant a seed, and because they don't, they have to rely solely on the goodness of the ocean, and they have to be less pollutant and more respectful of the ocean. So this way gives them a chance to really respect everything and respect their lifestyle. And I use that as a Christian also because of the command that our good Lord gave us to go be fishers of men and use the fishermen's stories to tell this whole life stories that we have. So by and large, I feel that through the work, as we talk about it, as we paint, we share our lifestyles and we share our pride and our joy, so people can really be enriched with who we are. They're different cultures, and we need to be seen differently so that we can, as a whole community, learn to appreciate each other in a more better way, and that would help us to bridge our gaps and our bridges. And I've known Fran since I worked with Michael, and through her and coming to do shows in Evanston every year, the Evanston Fountain Square show, I've been able to meet a lot of people in Evanston and stay connected with people who like my work. So I appreciate this opportunity. Thank everybody. Thank you, Fran, Rose, CARA, and all the people in Evanston for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, William. So here, I'll give you a clap. So next
Thank you.
we have Michelle, and I'm going to spotlight him.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah. First of all, thanks, Rose and you know, a friend, for taking the time to come to my studio and to get to know you guys, and then the art center also to, you know, consider my work in this exhibit. I'm very grateful. I mean, I'm originally from Senegal. I'm a self-taught painter, and for me, I never work with any particular exhibit in mind or any type of trajectory. I work every day, and when comes the opportunity for me to exhibit the work, I pick the work that I care about based on the curator of what the direction they're going. And then therefore, you know, this body of work, I choose that it's the diversity and the complexity of the work that I explore. Uh, I was born in Dakar, and then pretty much, you know, existing, growing, and the whole thing, it's all about creativity. So by the time I was 14, I was pretty clear what I wanted to do. So I grew up around a lot of very intelligent puppet makers, stage artists, and these are the people who ignite something in my brain, who follow to the path that I choose. I never encountered any masterpieces like that in my life. These people had embedded in me something was sick for, you know, creating the work. You were always something, you will always have something to talk about. And that's, I never look back. So the work changed a lot over the year. I live in Europe for about 11 years. I was constantly exposed in diversity and art. But the thing is that I had to find my own voice. And that's where I end up with this type of work. I'm a self-taught, and everything I create or I make come from my reality. I know where I come from. I know who I am. But what interests me, it's what am I doing here? This existence, questioning it, trying to find a lot of variety of different solution, an idea, and concept to grow, to move further, expand my curiosity, and then also to be able to grow with what I do. You know, this body of work that you see, that's a series of the gum art that I did. I spent 4 years in this project. All these dots that you see in the background, these are gum spots from you see on the side of the road, and people chew gums and they throw them out. And all these black spots, then I start photographing. I have probably about 3,000 of them. And I start kind of creating this composition where I will burn them on screen, and I will screen the paper, and then from there I create this original. I committed to do 57 paintings like this, and this is a body of that. Actually, when I live in Philadelphia, it was an exhibit for 6 months at the airport, and actually this body of work has been very strong, and a lot of variety of different how do you call that, a grant and so on, variety of different competitions. So the big white painting, The Beat of My Heart, that's actually, you know, the relationship, how you view your higher self. It's constantly busy and trying to reorganize, reshape us to where we need to be as we grow, as we evolve. So for me, art has never been anything else, you know, than a moral value. I have to create and make the work to enhance the quality of my intelligence, and hopefully will do that. Intelligence meaning emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, curiosity intelligence, all of that. And then when I can encounter that on a daily basis, the work that I do, it takes me further to other work. I'm very grateful to be part of this exhibit. And, you know, I'm based now in Chicago. I have a studio at the Zuby Arts Center, and I create work there. And it's been a great journey. I'm grateful to be here, and thanks again for having me.
Thank you, Michelle. Give you a thumbs up there. So let's see. We are going on to David Anthony Geary. Let me find you, David.
Okay.
Okay, we can hear you.
You guys can hear me? Okay, excellent. Oh, the sun is way brighter than I thought it was. Well, that's the light. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is David Anthony Geary, and I'm a Chicago-based artist. I live and work on the southeast side of Chicago. I actually met Fran, I'd say it's probably been a good 10 years now that we've known each other. I used to live in Evanston. I lived in Evanston for about 7 years, and I had a practice there, a home studio. And I was also a part of the I was co-chair for the Public Art Committee many years ago. And so invested in Evanston's art culture and art community. So when she asked me to be a part of this exhibition, like initially I'm immediately honored. I really respect what Fran does and how she pushes both her curatorial practice and her artistic practice. And then I have these moments of hesitation because I don't think of my work on the surface as social justice work. But underneath there is this core of representation, beauty, and joy in my work. And I often have to realize that in the culture we live in, being Black, being male, and making work that is not surface level political is actually quite revolutionary. To focus on the beauty of the everyday, the beauty of the culture and people around me, right? A lot of my work comes from the interactions that I have, whether they are familiar, you know, friendships, or even romantic relationships, all sort of pour into the work that I create. So what I can do is talk about, if you notice, there are 4 pieces, 3 of which are very different than, the 3 smaller ones are very different than the large piece. So the large piece that's on the left side of your screen right now is Drummer Dreamer. And it's actually a portrait that is about the dreams or imagination of a young boy. So it's actually one of my few self-portraits. And this idea or ability to just let go and fly and be regal in sort of everyday play. And as a little boy, one of the things I used to do was play drummer. I am not musically inclined, but somewhere in my youth, I thought I was. And it's from an actual photograph of me with a bucket on my head playing. But there was this glow of happiness about me in this very old blurred photograph. that inspired this piece. And so a lot of my work kind of comes from that. I will see images or take images and then begin to sort of shape narratives or have ideas sparked from that. The other 3 works are actually earlier works when my work was a little more on the figurative abstract end. And I played with simplified abstract forms of human figures that sort of became icons or representations of these sort of ideals or archetypes, right? So the piece on the left, Blue Collar, really is about a period of life where, you know, I worked like at a job, which I don't like to do. I'm just not a 9-to-5 person. I'm built and structured very differently. I spend a lot of my time in creative practice and sort of the trials and tribulations of that life. And then the piece to the right of it, Ascension, is about this idea of what it's supposed to look like to climb through that ladder of work life. So both of those 2 pieces sort of relate to that. And there's the figure becomes more and more complex as it ascends, that simple figure, and it plays with this idea of work and work relationships. The piece that is on the right side of the wall, I think, if whoever's operating the camera could swing it over there to the right, the third of the small pieces is called She Is Me. And that was the beginning of a series about identity, where again I'm taking these iconic forms. So in that series, there are probably about 30 or 40 pieces of that figure, each in different compositions or different relationships with the background. And in an abstract way, I'm playing with this idea of how we are a part of our environment, whether we're talking about our natural environment, our created environment, the people we surround ourselves with, or the things that we fill our lives with, like whatever way you think of environment. And so this dance between foreground and background for a long time was a really huge part of the work. And so you see that in the more abstract pieces. Currently, my work, the larger portion of my work looks more like the portrait piece. I have kind of become really focused on creating monumental portraits of the people that I encounter in my life. So all of my realistic subject work are all actual people that I've come to know. And most of them are everyday folks who just are in some way or another impacting the community, very often in very small ways, but have made some impact on me. And so the goal is to continue to create these monumental portraits of people who rarely get monumentalized until that's not a big deal anymore. And that's kind of where my work has been lately. And it's, you know, I'm really grateful to, in the midst of all of what is happening in the world right now, both the lockdown and the social unrest, that is necessary to still be able to exhibit and share my creative practice and my creative process with folks. And so it feels really good to be a part of this. And that's all I got for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Give you a clap. So we are going to David NIARI. And I think you are on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Hi, my name is David NIARI. I'm an Evanston artist. Glad to be here. Thank you, everyone. So honored to be with all the artists that are present. As an African artist, I'm just glad to be just a part of anything that's moving us, showing us, celebrating our work. Like I said, I'm an Evanstonian artist. My inspiration began maybe from my family, my brothers. were artists, continue to be artists, and I guess I continue to follow after them. So a lot of my work was really influenced a lot by them. They did a lot of social work, I guess. So I would be inspired by their messages and some of the work of my older brother, who I remember as a child seeing a lot of images of Ethiopian children and relating, learning through the art of things around me by some of the things that my brothers were drawing. And so I guess that continued to be an inspiration to me. And so growing up in the 80s, I was drawn to Marvel Comics, so that their message of social justice, just as superheroes, would inspire me to continue to think how I could contribute. Because I seen that, you know, from my experience growing up in Evanston, which was very, I would say, very privileged opportunity, because the art schools gave me everything that I needed to draw. So I was never in a position of where I couldn't be anything that I wanted to be. And that was, I think, the benefits that I continue to recognize as an artist, growing up in Evanston, taking advantage of all of the opportunities that were given to me just to grow and to be everything that I could be. So there was a lot of influence growing up at Evanston. I also would experience just the, you know, also as the African-American mayor, the chief police was Black. So I didn't even recognize some of the world around me. So I had to almost learn it from just the world around me. So I think that's played a role into me trying to always use my art to kind of say something as an inspiration, even to myself. So when I approach a project, it's always kind of like Pixar or any movie. I'm also do like I love films, creative work. So I always approach the work as to what can I do to challenge myself, the medium, the concepts. And so that goes a lot into the work that I do. And so I'll see the vision prior to even beginning the work. And then so I'll go to approach it and try to draw out some of the things or the concepts and ideas that I had. So what you're seeing it's actually just like almost, I would say, 3 different styles, but they all, I guess, they are similar in the vein of what they're speaking now. So this one, I guess, is children, an image that I kind of remixed elements to kind of say what I wanted to say, but it's actually from a friend's photograph who was photographing children in Darfur. And so I asked if I could look at some of the images, and so I added some elements to kind of draw into what I would say the blue wasn't there. So I kind of was helping to kind of create this this energy for it. These are pastels works. I love to draw pastels. The concept was to make it earth tones to keep within a certain a style. So I wouldn't say that I focus all the time on a necessary style, but it's really about the message that I'm trying to convey with each individual piece. The next one would be charcoal again. This image is actually, these are all Zikli prints, Zikle. So they're just prints of, this piece is 4 by 8, the size. So it began as just and a concept of trying to capture this, a woman, people say it's a child, so I don't tell them it's not a child. I'll let them interpret what they see. And it began, and I didn't want to go super realism, so I began to break free from some of the elements that would, I guess, make it more like photorealism, and try to draw out some of personal experiences that I had, and tells its own personal message that I don't really tell anybody, but it has a message that's there that I know about, and it speaks on like from the Ecclesiastics. It's called a season, and it's just referencing the continued situations that we see in unrest in America, and it just continues. Like all the work will reference some part of our experiences here in America as African Americans. The next work is pretty much a remix of a Picasso piece called Guernica. I remixed it and took the elements that Picasso used, because this is as a child, these are one of the images that I seen that I was very inspired by Picasso's work of the Guernica. And I remixed it to kind of reference the situation. Maybe there's an Inglewood in every community in America. And so taking from Picasso's history of taking the Spanish War, I flipped and remixed it and kind of spoke about the inner turmoil war that we have as a community, every Black community, whether it's from Evanston here to Inglewood, in LA to Harlem. So it kind of references everything that I feel that kind of repeats itself in every community, Black community in America. And it has its own Chicago theme that I tried to draw from. So thank you. I appreciate you, Evanston Arts Center, all the artists, for allowing me to come out and be a part of this show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We all clapped over here, but you didn't hear us. So give you a virtual clap. So we are going to Void. And you'll need to unmute.
Okay.
Yep, okay.
Can't see myself, but you can see me, okay? Hello, thank you. First, I want to thank the Center for hosting this exhibit. It's very powerful, moving work that's here. And I also want to thank Fran and Rose Cannon, particularly Fran. Fran has been a person that has kind of been following me along and helping me out and showing me the ropes in terms of getting work out and getting work shown. She's been a real mentor in that regard. So I certainly appreciate that. I have a couple pieces in the Art Center, and I want to point out first, I'm an untrained artist. Art hasn't been a profession for me, but it is a love. For as long as I can remember, I've loved making art, and I've worked in wood and paint and charcoal and you name it. You know, but what speaks to me most of all is art that is folk art. Somewhere I got caught in folk art, and I love it. There's so much about it that is very tranquil and peaceful to me, and it has a lot of meaning for me too when I think about the kind of art that's made from traditional senses and traditional regular people who may not be trained in art. Grandma Moses, Anna Marie Mary Robertson, was a strong influence. I like her work a lot. And when I looked at her work, it tells a story. And similar artists, it tells a story. It kind of puts a dialogue, a whole event into a picture. And picture that's up on the screen right now is my family home that's still in the family. My brother Bill is and his wife currently live in the home. And every person in that picture is an actual person, even the dog running down the hill on the upper right side, a terrorizing dog. His name was Bingo. But this picture is very important to me because it is about family. And when you look at family and consider what family means to us and how we become who we are, largely through our families. And we had a very big family. You know, I like to call their names out too, because they're wonderful people. And Ruth and James, my parents. On the other side, Johnny, my oldest brother, also on the other side of life. Clarence, Thomas, Mildred, Cynthia, and Patricia, Sandra, both Patricia and Sandra on the other side as well. Don, Angela, Bill, Bobby, Mary, Lola, Allison, and Naomi. Those are family, you know. They're my family who, in large measure, I think they help us to become who we are and who we grow to be, you know, and how we meet the world. And I'm so grateful for my parents and how influence they had on us. Sometimes it was a thing where you'd think you'd be half killed for doing something wrong, you know, but there was always a lot of love in the family. And so these pictures kind of are part of a set. There's 15 other paintings that chronicle my family's story. And it talks about how my family became a part of the Great Black Migration almost 70 years ago, getting out of rural Alabama, about 70 years ago now. And it was a terrible situation, and we had to leave quickly, father particularly. And the other picture on the right, that's actually a picture of my parents and the wedding. And of course, I wasn't there. That's my vision of what that wedding would have been like at a church and so on, and all laid out and people there around me. These 17 paintings are actually a part of a book that will be coming out in early 2021. And the book chronicles the circumstances that led to us having to leave Alabama on the quick and brought us to Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, where the family grew up. And so the work that I've done is I've focused largely on family, largely on themes of family. It's always been Afrocentric, and it's very meaningful for me. But I want to make sure that my family's story is told. You know, it's a beautiful story, and it's a harrowing story, you know, and the paintings kind of detail what was taking place at all the given times. And we were successful. We ended up everyone grew, and we've accomplished a lot of things, but so much of what we have become individually wouldn't have been possible without the love that we had for one another and without the love we have from our parents. Two people who, the oddest match I could have ever imagined, but they made it work, and they brought us all up, all 16 of us kids, 18 if you count the two earliest ones that didn't survive. But it was a good thing for us, and so the story is very strong for me. It's very emotional, and I believe that everyone should share their stories. My story is, I look at it as being unique, you know, but everybody's story is. And I think that the opportunities that we have today, we cannot hesitate to talk to each other. And I use these things to talk, these paintings and these work to talk to people about their stories and getting to know each other. we can fight all the battles that we want to fight, and it's important that we do those things, but it's also important that we listen to each other and share stories. I think when we share our stories, we learn who people are, and we learn how to be more open to the differences that God has blessed us with. And that's been a great influence in my work, and I'm open for any questions, but that's the gist of what I have to say tonight. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to share my work in this exhibit too. Thank you.
Thank you, Javoy. So we are going to move on to Boz Cumberbatch. Let me find you here.
Afternoon, everyone. Good day, everyone. My name is Baz, and I make and produce art between here and Maui, Hawaii. And my things are inspired from nature. I make things that come from different types of trees. And first of all, let me say thanks to FRAN and Rose and Everson Art Center to have me to be part of this, and I'm really appreciate it. I'm proud to be part of it. And again, my things are come from different type of trees, so I doesn't use any paint or any stains or any dyes. If you look to the round piece in the middle, this has its own color, and this right in the center of it, it has like two faces. I refer to this as yin yang. So you have a white face here, and then you have a black face right there. So people are always been together from since in creation, and nature teaches me that. Just that people are so divided and so separate, but nature is something that would always bring people together and bring everyone together, just like how nature itself make itself, keep itself and sustain itself. So if we trust nature, we'll be able to survive, I think, and be together with everyone, just like how nature have itself together and have the whole universe all together, all just like one. So this part that express my part of black and white and color, for me, does not really mean anything, because everybody is one. And here is like the shape of a softball that made from banana trees. This is like mountain pieces, and then the sailboat made from bamboo, and the body of the boat itself made from a different palm trees. And I'm originally from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who lives in Hawaii and now live in Hawaii and between Hawaii and Everston. And my things are I'm inspired from the sky to the sea by using natural pieces and creating the same scene that you see. That is all from natural material without any paint or any stains or any dyes. And I'm so proud to be here, part of this whole show and part of this exhibit as an artist and as a black individual who live and trying to make a living and trying to survive as the black person in the world, in the universe. Right now we know it's a lot of stress and trouble with what's going on. I myself would like to stress this point, because since I was a little kid, I was always afraid of the police. And now I realize that I'm so not alone, and every day so much people that always afraid of the police. Whenever you see the police, you be so scared to watch the police and to watch them. But now I feel so much more different, so much more better. The whole world is looking, now it's just me, but the whole world is looking, and everyone is all looking together. So I feel much more brave and much more confident as a black person and as an artist who doing art. So right now I've never been so proud as myself as a person, as an individual that living on planet Earth today. And my grandfather is somebody who inspired me. He used to make sailboats, different size. My cousin built like 96 feet boat. My dad was like a carpenter. And those are actually where I get my inspiration from. You see the color of the wood. They always doing in woodwork from since I was a little kid. And if you ask me how long since I've been an artist, I would always say to people, it seems as if I was born to be an artist. And it's how long it took me to discover who I is, what am I supposed to do, and what am I doing in this world. And I think I find myself as an artist without anybody teach me anything about it, just by paying attention to the nature and traveling the globe and discovering. I actually used to paint first. I still have some of a lot of the scene, but the last 10 years, I've just been focusing on these pieces because it inspired me to use nature, because everybody was always getting into what's green. I went to visit Alaska, and then I saw the icy mountain and the waterfalls coming out, just like the piece in the middle right there. And when I came back, I stopped practicing to use paint or any stains or any dye, and then yeah, I take off from them in a bunch of galleries in Hawaii, in taking off in a kind of a way, and I'm having fun with this. It's a rough time it's a rough time right now, and I try to make the best of it. What I'm doing right now in Everston is making sailboats. So these sailboat type, I'm making a small sailboat about 18 inches long, and has its sail and it operates just with the wind. I can put it on the lake, and when the wind blows, it would sail, and you have to get behind it and turn it around. So I could make a bunch of different sailboat that would operate on the lake, and the lake inspire those in quarantine in Everston here, because about the lake and what I normally do, I can't do it, and I go, well, what should I do here? My girlfriend said to me, you need to try to figure out something, do something different. And I went like, well, what do I do now? I always wanted to build sailboats, and here's my opportunity. There's the lake. So I went to Lowe's in Home Depot and buy boat and come up with all my tools, and I start from there. But right now I'm making a bunch of sailboats and hearts. Hearts inspire me because everybody have heart inside, and heart is the thing that everybody gets and everybody likes. And if you have heart, you have everything, and you have a chance at something. And I think with that, I'm pretty much, I think I see a lot. Nice to visit with everybody. Nice to hear everybody's views. And thanks to Rose and FRAN again, and to Everston's Art Center. I really appreciate this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So we are going to have FRAN talk about Deborah Salter. So one moment while we get set up here.
Okay, Deborah Flint Salter, she could not be with us today, so I'm gonna just kind of speak a little bit on behalf of her work. She's an artist and designer, and her artwork is functional artwork. So what you'll see is these handcrafted pieces that have various designs and decor. And on the opposite side of each piece, you can put your jewelry, whatever you need accessory-wise. This one in this corner, you can put ties, scarves, all kinds of things, long necklaces. And it can be in your room, in the bedroom, in the corner, and it would be just a beautiful piece. The taller screen over there, great as a divider screen. Got kind of a funky pop art feel to it. Love that work. And then she makes these game tables that, this one is called the Cheetah, and it's painted in a cheetah animal pattern, and then she has cut glass on top and constructed it where now it's a chess table. And she makes these custom, and they're beautiful pieces, and would be great, especially since all of this sheltering in. I'm sure there's a lot of game playing going on, so this is a beautiful game table to utilize. And the smaller pieces, of course, are for jewelry, earrings, all kind of things that kind of get lost in jewelry boxes that you can't find. But this way you can have a piece of art on your dresser, and it's functional. And it's beautiful at the same time. And Deborah does a lot of custom work, so she kind of does it all. So I wish she could be here, but she's not here today, so I have to speak for her. And come out and see her work. They're reasonable, and everybody can own a piece. There's a price point for everyone. I'm always selling, so can't help it. But her work is really nice and it's very well done. This game table is made of 3 different types of wood she put together. It's called an industrial game table. So she used, you know, parts, put them together, game table, ready to go. So that's, and she's got various different themes. And I'm sure if you got a theme you don't see, she'll make it for you. So she's happy to be here. This is her room. DEBRA FLINT Salter sculpture room. Thank you.
Thank you, Fran. Do we want to move on to Maya or your work? Okay, again, one moment while we kind of move here. About Fran's work here. And Fran, you're going to have to speak into this.
Okay. Most people know me as a social justice artist, but I was playing around with some different things before COVID hit. So I want to focus on just what this was about. This is a piece inspired by my granddaughter. She loves flowers. She's very, very girly, loves pink, but she has a fiery spirit. And this is called My Hunter Girl. It's a little different for me, but I was really into it. So I was into the spirit of it. And the screen here, I make designer screens and wall mounts that range from, say, a yard tall all the way up to 8 feet. So this is one from a trip to Virgin Gorda. My daughter was married, and it was such a peaceful experience that I wanted to recreate that so that someone could have it in their home and still feel peaceful. So, especially in our harsh winters, it's kind of nice to look at this when it's like really snowy outside and cold. So I make these custom depending on what design sense you have. This piece I saw a picture of a little girl from Yemen in a war zone running from what had taken place with the bombing, and this photographer caught the picture, and it was just such a striking picture, so I wanted to reproduce that feeling that I got. But I battled with this piece because she didn't want to be stressed. She wanted to just be innocent and pure. So we battled and she won. And she said, no, I'm just me, I'm cool, untouched by harm, and had to go with it. So this is my young girl. And I hadn't done anything new to address the current social climate. Most of my social justice pieces are over the last 7 years, but you know, once COVID hit and then all the racial tension since then, I needed to say something. So this is my, we are equal, we are valuable, stop killing us. This piece is bumpy. My theme for 2020 is buckle up. 2020 is a bumpy ride. We can do this. We gotta think outside the box. This whole exhibit came out of COVID in a sense because of all of the changes that had to take place, but you still gotta live, you still gotta move forward. So we're moving forward. Buckle up. We still got the rest of the year to go through. And This one is because NASCAR thing right now. You gather around. And so I see it as valuing life. You either value your life and you value the life of others by wearing your mask. And that's what's good about wearing a mask. It's about valuing life. And that's what I have to say with that. So thank you very much for listening and being interested and wanting to support both the Evanston Arts Center and all of these 12 very, very talented artists who are showing here today. I think we have one or two more. Okay, and wanted to also mention Sue Ann Rayner, who does mixed media. She wasn't able to be here tonight.
So we will show Suwan's work here quickly, and then we have Tadaki, who will speak about his work. And then he is our final artist. So this is Suwan here that we're viewing. Here is Tadaki. We just took a nice little stroll down the gallery. Thank you, Ashley, our camera person. So Tadaki, if you want to unmute.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, we hear you. And I'm going to show you for a moment. Hi.
Okay.
Okay, so you're on.
Okay, my name is Tadaki Hata. Appreciate being on the Zoom tonight. The painting I did was, I think it was 1971, and I entered a painting to a DuSable Art Museum contest, and I think I received a blue ribbon or something like that. But anyways, I appreciate the being on the exhibit because of Rhodes Cannon actually picked it up at this friend of mine's house. It's been there for maybe 10 years, maybe more being there. But anyways, my tie to Evanston is by going to grad school in Northwestern, 1966 to 68. Then after that, I worked in Evanston Township High School as a athletic trainer for several years, and that's my tie to Evanston Township, and I love the town very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Here's a virtual clap. So I guess we can move on. I think questions. What do you all think? So if anyone has any questions for any of the artists, they can go ahead and add it to, here, let me spotlight us here. So we did have one question for Boz. Are you still here?
Yes, I am.
Great. So someone wanted to know if it's your work in the front windows of GGOs right now.
Yes, yes, that's my work. That is my work.
Awesome. Looks like that was really our only question.
And actually, piece from GDO's, piece from there sold like yesterday. Somebody bought a piece of art from there yesterday.
Very cool. Well, does anyone else have any other questions for us or the curators or any of the artists? I hear beautiful birds. Okay, well, thank you everyone for being here. We're so excited that you were able to join us tonight virtually, and hopefully everyone will also be able to come here in person as well. We are currently open. The gallery hours are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturdays from 10 to 4, and Sundays from noon to 4. So if you're able, we really encourage you, please wear your mask, please social distance, but this work is really beautiful and really exciting to see here in person too. So thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
Rose.
Thank you so much. Thank you all who tuned in. We appreciate it. Come see us as well. I hope you like the show. Put some comments in on what you thought about the show. We would love to hear from you. Absolutely. There's Heidi.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Fran. Fran enjoys work.
So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.